Coming up on this edition of Special People, Special Issues, have you ever wondered how to bake or learn how to bake if you're differently abled? The Cookie Man is here, known as the Cookie Ranger of Yonkers, New York. Stay tuned. SPSI starts right now.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Welcome to this edition of Special People, Special Issues, the program that focuses on the needs, concerns, and achievements of the differently abled. I'm Lawrence Seiler. On this edition, we'll focus on learning how to bake great cookies with Steve Ruff. He's known as the Cookie Man of Yonkers. He's also a contractor with the Board of Education of Yonkers. Thank you for joining me on this edition of Special People, Special Issues.
Thank you very much, Larry, for having me on.
Okay. Can you explain to me what made you want to start baking?
I really started watching my mom when I was growing up, and then I started baking as a hobby to give cookies to people as gifts around Christmas time. I really started with my brother's company when he was working in Connecticut, and started baking for their Christmas party, and everybody loved them. Mm-hmm. So I baked them again the next year and the next year. And then I made them for friends where I live and a couple of Christmas parties. Mm-hmm. So everybody decided, well, why don't you try this? You know, you're pretty good at it. These cookies are great. Mm-hmm. And I thought about that. Well, Steve's Great Cookies kind of got launched that way. Mm-hmm. And then I took a business seminar and went on from there. Now,
you know, people with disabilities or special abilities, as we like to call them here on this show, right, have extraordinary gifts. And your gift is baking. You have a special need yourself. If you want to talk about that, you
sure.
may. What is it, and how do you deal with it when you bake your cookies or teach other people how to bake?
You know, I have sort of a disability in reading. Mm-hmm. I was a slow reader growing up, and I have a reading comprehension dysfunction. Mm-hmm. So what I do to offset that, I've learned to get around that by taking a little more time to read, and I've learned to get around that, and actually what I want to show people is how they can overcome their fear of trying something new. Mm-hmm. Even though they're differently abled, I have the ability to show them how to physically get involved with these ingredients and to put something together that people appreciate that's really not too hard to make.
So they're not as scared. I mean, okay, this is coconut, this is chocolate chip,
right,
but a lot of people with disabilities or special needs are afraid to use an oven sometimes.
Right, that's where it'd have to be supervised for a while, but once they get over the fear, and they understand, especially how to use a commercial oven. It's big enough, and once they go through the safety class, you know, food safety and handling, mm-hmm, then they're certified and they can do it too. There are a lot of differently abled people working in kitchens, restaurants. Certainly, mm-hmm, that can be worked out.
Now, you've worked with special needs groups. You've worked with classrooms, you've worked in community centers. What group do you like working with the most?
I think I love working with children, basically 8 to 10 years old. They're open to imagination and creativity, and you can kind of mold their experiences in new ways, and mm-hmm, this is my favorite audience to work with. I work with some everything from pre-K to senior citizens at the museums and environmental centers I've worked in. But that seems to be the age where I connect the best. So that's...
I notice here that you teach environmental sciences at the planetarium. You give tours and so on. What inspired you to do those things? And then, I mean, did you start baking cookies first and then did that? Or I mean, what made you really want to go into teaching?
I loved working with children, and it's interesting, when you go through a job transition, I was laid off twice in my life, and currently I'm looking for full-time employment, but it's given me the opportunities to try something new. So the first time I was laid off, I worked in a museum as a volunteer, and I fell in love with working with children and taking them through tours. It was a maritime museum in Maryland, on the Chesapeake Bay, and I just loved what I was doing, and I knew I had a gift to do that. So I pursued that, went to graduate school eventually after working through the Smithsonian for a little while at the Natural History Museum, working with kids there, and then went on to a children's education program for museum education at Bank Street College. And then did that for a while, and then the cookies came later.
And you've also been an adjunct professor at the College of Mount St. Vincent.
I love doing that. I love working with college students. They have a similar kind of need to be creative and to find another avenue to explore their environment. So that's what I was doing, is teaching about the Hudson River at the College of Mount St. Vincent. I love doing that. It's every spring, and it's been great.
Now, what are some of the misconceptions that people have around people with disabilities or special needs when they first meet them?
I think they have some sort of disease. You know, people don't want to work with them because they think they don't recognize the disability as such. They recognize it as perhaps an illness, or they think it's something to do with their mental capacity or anything else. I think that's a tragic sort of labeling of people, but I think that's a common misconception. So in order to overcome that, you really have to get to know people with disabilities and work with them, and that's what I've been able to do through the education system and a museum. So it enlightened me quite a bit, especially in graduate school. I had a special needs class for children with special needs, and I just thought they were more focused. They had more passion for what they were doing than other children, and they, even though they were differently abled, they were capable of producing some of the most creative work I've ever seen. So it was quite an eye-opening experience for me.
Okay. Why is it so important for, now, education is important, but why is it so important for a good education, especially when you're a child with special needs?
I think you need to branch out and feel that you can have more control over situations around you, over your environment, have a feeling of independence. And I think creative avenues give you that, especially if you bake or if you paint, if you sing. All those talents give you a way to feel confident, feel some sort of control or independence over your life. So that's my gift to others, is to show them that they can do something like baking and create something that creates a wonderful memory for other people.
Now, you know, there are cooking courses or cooking classes for people with disabilities. The Bronx has them, different boroughs. Have you ever thought about teaching one of your own?
I haven't come to that yet, but that's a good consideration. I love teaching and I love baking, so the two of them would combine well in a culinary class for students that are differently abled. So that'd be a great idea. That'd be a good thing to pursue.
When growing up, did you? Of course, I don't know if you knew that you were going to do this, but have you watched other chefs on television? And if you did, who was your inspiration?
That's a great question. I've always loved Emeril Lagasse. You know, when he uses his BAM, when he adds something to a recipe and just kicks it in up a notch, and I've always loved that. I've used that in other education programs, and he's an inspiration to me. And I think even though he wasn't a chef or a baker, Captain Kangaroo, I go back, I'm old school too. So Captain Kangaroo
that's who gave you the inspiration for the Cookie Ranger?
I think for the hat and the uniform, might have been Captain Kangaroo.
Okay.
I grew up watching him, so.
Well, excuse me while we go to break. We'll be back with more with the Cookie Man and the Cookie Ranger of Yonkers when SPSI returns. Welcome back to Special People, Special Issues. Steve, you're a science educator. You've worked with other people with special needs, and you teach them how to bake cookies. Can you explain some of the process that goes into baking cookies?
Sure, Larry. Thanks. What I have here, first of all, for food safety, you always have disposable gloves. And then you have some basic food equipment, some measuring spoons, a spatula, a scoop for scooping the dough when it's ready, and some spoons to kind of spoon out the ingredients. And of course, measuring cups to measure everything. We have some basic ingredients for the cookies. Start with oatmeal and flour. Those are the two things to start with. Then add white sugar and brown sugar. And then, depending on the flavor of cookie, also have to add baking soda, baking powder, and cornstarch, milk, eggs, butter, and cinnamon, which is not pictured here. But then the varieties kind of branch from there based on a basic recipe. So coconut banana, raisins, and chocolate chips. Mm-hmm. So what I have here, once you combine the coconut banana and chocolate chips with the oatmeal, mm-hmm. then you bake the dough once you mix everything together. And they come out like this. This is fresh out of the oven. And these are the banana coconut chocolate chip cookies that I started with. This is my first real original recipe that everybody loves, made a big hit with everyone. And so that's what these are on the cookie, on the baking sheet that they came out of the oven on. Mm-hmm. And once I plate those or package them, then they are more like these. And I let them sit for about 6 or 8 hours, just to let them kind of cool and dry mm-hmm. Before I package them or put them in a tray.
Now, what's the importance, you know, people with special needs and everybody else loves cookies, but when you make cookies, or make anything, why is it so important to, deal with food safety and, protecting yourself with, stuff like gloves and so on?
Well, first of all, I should mention I took a food safety class in order to learn the techniques to prevent diseases or any kind of contamination from getting into the
poisoning. And
salmonella. You've got all kinds of toxins that can get into eggs and milk, especially, and that's important to protect people from any kind of problems or sickness. So that's why I took that course and was certified, and now I know how to handle food safely, make a large quantity of cookies, handle the dough safely, mm-hmm. and I haven't had a problem since I learned that, and I was doing things a little differently before that, not wearing gloves and washing my hands a lot. Mm-hmm. But now I know how to handle food well, and that protects the public.
I understand that you've worked with kids and you put on costumes and things
like
that.
Right, like this one?
Why, or what made you come up with the Cookie Ranger?
Well, you know, I've always loved Yogi Bear and Mr. Ranger, and I thought of when I took a business seminar course in New York City, in Yonkers, and I had to come up with an identity for the branding of my cookies. So I thought, well, what can I do? And I loved the idea of Ranger Rick. I loved Mr. Ranger from Yogi Bear. I loved all those things. So I thought, You know, I love to dress up and put on costumes, and I had to think about it for a while, and it came to me, just the Cookie Ranger.
Steve, we're going to go to break. We're going to go to break right now. We'll be right back with the Special People Special Issues Bulletin Board after these munching messages.
When it's time for lunch, a sandwich is a quick and easy choice. And with the right ingredients, it can be good and good for you. So I'm here today to see who can build the ultimate sandwich. All right, when the time is up, our judges will give you their scores. Ready, set, go! Okay, Jason starts out with a multi-grain roll. Ooh, Allison stuffing her pita with, yes, spinach, a great source of iron. Jason isn't skipping on the protein, adding plenty of smoked turkey, just like Allison's putting the finishing touches with crispy red bell peppers for a dose of vitamin A. Time! It looks like we have a tie. We'll need to call in our special guest referee.
Now these are what I call quick, delicious lunches. Whole grain breads, a whole variety of ingredients. There are so many different ways to build delicious, healthy sandwiches. These two get high marks in every category. I'd say you're both winners. America.
Let's get healthy together.
Did you know that getting up and getting active for just 60 minutes a day is all it takes to help you get stronger, look better, and feel great?
Or that fresh fruits and veggies aren't just healthier and crunchier, they can taste better too?
Eating better and getting more active is easier than you think.
Yeah! Keep watching for some fun and easy ways to discover the magic of healthy living in your life.
America.
Let's get healthy together!
Steve, welcome back to Special People Special Issues. Steve,
Thank you.
Let's talk about some of your future goals.
Sure.
What are some of your future goals, being the fact that you bake and that you teach baking to people with special needs?
Well, one of the future goals I have is to, first of all, make a profitable company of this and spread the word that it's something that everybody can do. So I want to give back to the community through the community center I work with first, and then branch out.
Why, now, there are other types of cookies.
Oh, sure.
Other cookie companies.
It's a lot of competition out there.
That we can't mention here on the show.
Right, right.
But what makes your cookies better than the rest?
I think my cookies have a special richness about them because of the ingredients I use and the way I bake them. I bake them for a little longer than normal to really enhance the flavor, and the dough is thick enough, it takes a lot longer to bake. They're more like, especially with the oatmeal, they're more almost like a granola bar. They're that thick and dense. So they leave the person with a taste that lingers a little bit longer than other cookies. So I take pride in that, and it's a gift. It's God's gift that I'm very proud to use and to make sure people enjoy them that way. So I think I might have an advantage that way.
All right, now you're an educator.
Sure, yes.
I forget his first name, but there is a cookie company by the name of Famous Amos.
Yes.
He's also an educator. He was an educator on PBS.
He's an inspiration to me. That was
one of the educator on PBS. My question is, when you educate people and teach them how to bake, do you go step by step and teach them ingredient by ingredient and what ingredient? Because you know, there's the illnesses, there's the bacteria and all that. Do you go through step by step, or I mean, how do you do it?
I think to start with, I kind of pre-make certain steps, or I sort of do to make it a little bit easier to comprehend. Because when you go down and break it down from initial ingredients, from raw ingredients, there's quite a bit to it. So the steps are kind of condensed when I show someone how to do it. And then I break it down for them as they feel confident and comfortable with it. But Famous Amos definitely is an inspiration for me. I want to be that person in Times Square just like he was, giving out his samples and making his name known. And he gives back through PBS and all his programs, and that's what I like to do too.
Describe some of the other work, or some more of your work with some of the disabled kids.
Well, in the planetarium at the museum where I work part-time, I work a lot with Lighthouse for the Blind. And they come and...
Lighthouse International.
Yes, that's right. I'm sorry. Yes, that's correct. And they come with groups of kids that want to feel the experience of being shown the stars, even though they may not be visually capable of taking in the whole experience that way. It's great to be surrounded by the sound and the impact of what that show does. And it's an amazing thing that happens in the planetarium to create a new environment for these children that don't get that opportunity. And I love that. And I love showing them the planets and the stars. So.
Okay. What is some of the other work that you do with other disabled kids?
Well, at the community center, I work after school teaching science programs to them. And we work with children of different abilities and do some simple science experiments. Yesterday we worked with magnets, just how you repel the North Pole or North and South Pole attract each other, how to make the magnetic field penetrate the different materials to move things, simple things like that. We'll do a rocket launch with a little film canister with Alka-Seltzer rockets. That's a lot of fun for them too, and they get excited about science. That's what I work with. I work with children of all ranges in that center, and that's been a great opportunity.
Okay. Now, you grew up in a different type of generation, okay? 70s and 80s, correct?
Right.
Years ago, they used to have all these food commercials and, you know, right? Now, how do you plan to branch out? This is my first question. Second question is, a lot of cookies and snacks have preservatives.
Right.
Right. Actually, I think we should start with that point. A lot of these foods have preservatives these days. What makes your cookies different? Do you use more all natural ingredients?
I use common ingredients that you find in the store. I'm trying to get to all organic ingredients because there's a big market for that. And that's where I would want to branch out into the organic foods market, like Whole Foods, for example. The other market is to try and branch out to the adolescent market and try and get more wholesome food to them because of the nature of childhood obesity and awful snack food that's full of fat and cholesterol.
Say that again, I'm sorry?
Try and reach out to the adolescent community that eat snack food that's full of fat and cholesterol and sodium, sugar. I'm trying to reduce those things to make my cookies healthier. So that's the next way I'd like to branch out. It's organic and healthy.
What made you want to really work with disabled children?
I think it was really my experience at the graduate level at Bank Street College when I was taking that special needs class, when I had a chance to work with special needs children, 8 and 9 years old, and to see them really light up and have a passion that I've never seen before to create art projects, mostly imaging themselves through creations of paper and cardboard sculptures, and to see how they express themselves was something I've never seen before. So it made me interested in how they felt about themselves and their work, and that gave me the interest to work with them. So.
Do you teach kids with special needs baking skills, and if so, how?
Currently, I don't have a regular opportunity to do that, but I do like to show children how I make these by kind of condensing those steps, as I mentioned, and kind of showing them basically how I showed you with the ingredients, and then here's the dough, and then I let them scoop some of the dough out, and then make some cookies I'll put in the oven for them. And they can watch it with the oven light on. You can actually watch the cookie dough change, spread out, and rise. And that's always a lot of fun for them. So right now it's at that level. I don't have a formalized class yet, so that's something to work on. That's another area to expand into.
Now, what really is? I know you said your mother,
right?
Okay, but what really inspired you to educate people? Or learn how to educate people?
My mom was a teacher, and I think it's in my blood. I know it is. I have really a gift to teach, and I take after my mom quite a bit, I think, in that area. So with her natural gift, I think I expanded on that when I discovered things when I was unemployed working in museums.
Okay. Well, Steve, I would like to thank you for joining us on this edition of Special People, Special Issues.
Thank you, Larry. It's been a pleasure.
When we come back, we'll have the Special People, Special Issues bulletin board after these messages.
Now, Krista, make sure you stay with her the whole time. She's new to the country. This is her first day. This is a brand new country. It's a whole different culture.
Okay.
Now, make sure you stay with her the whole time. I'll be here right after school to pick you up.
Okay, Mom.
Okay, have fun. Bye-bye.
Bye. Ignore my mom. She's so annoying. She's totally freaking out about this whole thing. She freaks out about everything. She always does that. Ugh. Ignore my mom. So, ready for your first day in the wicked castle of doom? I mean, like, seriously, it's so boring. I don't know how they could put us through this, like, every single day. How many schools do you have in your village? None.
G-morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me. Are your parents home later? We can hang. LUV, love you. JK. Holla back. Holla back. Holla back. Are you with your friends? That's lame. We're in a huge fight right now. XO. What'd you dream about? Something I did. Are you on your way to the mall? I'm lonely. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
There is also a very attractive extended warranty option that includes free service and parts for the next 5 years. But there's no need for you to get that. You failed to get the test you needed at the doctor that would have detected disease early enough where it could have been treated. So you won't be around in 2 years to see him grow up, which means the warranty would be useless. Okay, sign here, please.
For a list of tests every man should have, go to ahrq.gov.
Now, let's take a look at the Special People Special Issues Bulletin Board. It contains numbers and information featured on today's program. For more information on Steve's Great Cookies, you can contact Steve Ruff at 914-709-9871. That number once again is 1-914-709-9871. Or you can reach Steve Ruff at Stephen Ruff at, I'm sorry. Well, I'll do it again. 3, 2, 1. For more information on Steve's Great Cookies, you can contact Steve Ruff at 914-709-9871. That number once again is 914-709-9871. Or you can reach him at Steve Ruff at optumline.net. That's Steve Ruff at optumline.net. Well, that puts an end to this munching edition of Special People, Special Issues. I'm Lawrence Seiler. See you next time.